take the sketch that you've taken, that you've made. I found this husky online that I liked, and rather than spending time to do my own, I did find one that was copyright free and legal for me to use. So I'll be using this as if it was my sketch logo. And what you'll be doing is you'll be adding text to it, like this. Let's see, like this here. Or you have a lot of creative freedom. You can add text in different ways. And then also adding effects, such as these have some gradients and some light shadows on them. And you can do even more so, making this look even more metallic and putting shadows on your overall shapes. So just some simple things to learn about what you can do in Photoshop. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into this one and break it down for you to make it really simple. So let's just turn off the text layers. And these layers, let's see, these layers are just simple. I'm going to drag this. This little FX is what you're going to be adding. I'm just going to drag it to the trash to break it down for you. These are just simple shapes, circles stacked on top of circles, right? To get this. Now, to further add effects to these, you would just double click on any of these. So I usually make my shapes strange colors, really bright colors, just because it's fun to work with. But then when I'm serious about what I want to recolor them, actually I double click on them and then I get this layer style window, and then I can begin working on what it will really look like. So for instance, you can click bevel and emboss and it instantly becomes kind of 3D-ish looking. That may clash with how flat our other parts of our logo are. You may want to add a texture to it. As you click on each of these, you can see over here that it changes. So if we want to add a texture, we can edit this texture and make it, stronger or smaller, lighter, subtle. We can click on this little drop down here, find more textures. We can go online. We can even load more patterns or other type of textures and make this list even longer as we add textures to these things. That's one way of doing it. These textures, as you can see, can look very mechanical. So sometimes it's better to make your own with a brush tool. If you're curious about that, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Be careful with these. These things usually, if used too strongly, scream amateur. So because I used a shape always has a stroke to it, and you can turn it on and off in the shapes. But here what you can do is you can add stroke, and then another stroke, and another stroke, and another stroke, and then alternate them. So I'm going to put this stroke outside here. I'm getting kind of a preview. It shows me that it's white. Oh, I'll pick this color, green, just so you can see. I should probably be giving you examples of good design rather than just examples of what you can do. But let's see. There we go. It took a minute for it to preview. But now I've got this almost like Looney Tunes looking thing. If you spend some time getting these strokes to be the right size, they can actually look pretty cool as they come out as a concentric bullseye. Or if you need to make something that's very nice, fine pinstriping, that can look very elegant as well. If you don't use lime green, maybe using like a pure black. Instead, you can get something more like that. So you can see, not bad. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn all those off. Okay, good. Other things that you can add here, of course, are inner shadows to make it look like it is recessed. So 1 pixel is too small to see because this is so high resolution. So let's go raise that up. There we go. Now it looks like it is recessed in. It'll generate there in a second. Another thing is outer glows. Let's see. Color overlay is usually what I end up changing the colors with. But rather than color overlay, let's look at gradients, because gradients are pretty fun. You can be very subtle with gradients, and then that's very professional, or you can be very strong with your gradients and make some of these preset ones. So here's a copper one that actually kind of fits with the husky idea here. So I'll go ahead and use that for now. And then of course you have lots of settings here that you can adjust your gradients and customize them yourself. Okay, and then finally I'm going to go ahead and put a drop shadow on this, and you see that that appears right over here. And I'll just leave the one that's default for now. But usually this is a little harsh, and this logo does look a little juvenile, but for now we'll keep going with it and tweak it as we need to later. Okay, so now to add some text, you use the text tool here. Okay. And if you just simply click somewhere, you get a point, and then you can start typing. So this right here is white, because this is here, and that's not good. Let's make it a color. Let's make this full screen so we can see what we're doing. Or not. Okay. Oh, I drag it. There you go. That's what you do. You can actually drag around your screens. There we go. And see, move tool to move the text down. Go back to the text tool. Click on here. And then I've got Huskies. Okay. So T for the text tool instantly. If I click on the T key, it gives it to me. Now over here are 2 panels that are going to be very helpful. One, let's see, let's get rid of the swatches. That's hard to read. Okay, I've got the character panel that's hidden under an A icon, and that's to adjust the individual letters. And then I have a paragraph panel. That's not going to be as useful in this, but the character will. So I can adjust the size of the text here by just simply clicking on top and dragging back and forth. I can adjust how the letters are spaced in between each other. Here, I'm going to just select and say that I want them optically spaced. And then finally, the spacing between each individual letter is going to be adjusted here. Right now I've got 300. I can have it at 0, which is what it will be by the default. Or I can even smash them really close together. Okay. Okay, let's see. I've got color and a bunch of other options as well that I can do with it. So I've got my Huskies. Okay, rather than having it like this though, I'm going to go ahead and delete this layer and make it actually curve around. So let's get rid of that. And now I am actually going to come over to my layers palette, hide this one. And I want to make sure, I want it to curve on the outside of this smaller circle. So I'm going to select the smaller circle right here. And then I'm going to click with my text tool, and I'm going to click right in the middle because that's an easy point for me to start from. There we go. And now I type Huskies. And because it's center justified, it moved out from that middle right there. Now this is pretty spread out. So let's actually come back here and make it just a little less spread out. Do Control A will select it all. And there we go. And then I'm going to use the Move tool, and I'm going to just use my keypad to tap it up gently. Okay. This isn't the best because if you noticed, I've got lots of space here, but these are still, there's lots of little details like this. we're not going to worry about it, because if we were to worry about the little details, we would be here forever. So let's just go ahead and make ourselves a halfway decent looking logo. Okay, to make this text better, I'm going to actually double click on it, and I'm going to come down to the gradient overlay, and it has the same gradient overlay by default, but I'm going to click reverse. There we go. And now I'm going to add an inner shadow so it looks like it's kind of cut into this metal. I'm going to make this smaller because it's too fuzzy. There we go, getting closer. And give it a little distance so it's coming off to one side. There we go. And let's see, turn down the choke. Ooh, there. There, we're starting to get that. Good. I could use this, or this is actually kind of strange to have this gradient. I should probably come to the gradients and choose one. Possibly even just simply a black, like that. And then turn the opacity of the entire layer here, turn this down some, maybe just turn it to darken. I don't know, does that work? Not quite. Let's see, go back to gradient overlay, choose that, and then keep it reversed so it's like just like the other one. And then turn that back up to 100. It does look like maybe embossed leather now, but that's kind of hard to read, so that needs to be played with more. Okay, well, hopefully this has been a good start to introduce you to layer styles, opacity, and the type tool. So, if you have any questions, let me know.